Hi writers. Today we're going to focus on crafting a hook. A hook is what a writer uses to get their reader's attention. If you were to open up a story and it started out with just really boring things like the dog ran, you're less likely to be interested or hooked as if it started off with the fluffy brown bulldog glided across the rough terrain as he pounced on the ball that his owner threw to him. That's much different than just your boring start. So we're going to look at different types of hooks that writers use when they're writing. Your I can today is going to be I can craft a hook for my writing piece. There are 3 different types of writing hooks that we're going to look at today that authors use. One is dialogue. They start the text out with people actually talking. And I put an example here like, "Watch out!" I yelled. Another type is action. That is when the author starts out with high action going on. Rumble, boom, bang. The fireworks exploded in the air. The third type that we're going to look at today is just when an author starts out with lots of details, like I just did with the dog. The morning was dark, dreary, and downright cold. Those details help us picture it in our minds. We're going to use some of our mentor texts today to help us explore and check out those different types of hooks that authors use. So let me start out with, here is our first mentor text. It's Bincangeli. Okay? Bincangeli, this author, Kate DiCamillo, loves to start out by using dialogue. So the name of this story is P.S. I'll be back soon. If you look here on this page, it says, "It has been far too long since my last adventure," said Golly. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you so you can see it. I must journey forth into the wider world. But where? Tasmania? Timbuktu? So you can see here that the author, you can tell by the quotation marks that the author started with dialogue. Here's another story within this text. Okay, this one's called You Don't Need a New Pair of Socks. And again, you can see, "Hello, Golly," said Bink. "What should we do today?" You can see how the author started with dialogue. So they're hooking the reader in by starting right out with a person's conversation. The next type of hook that authors use is action, where it actually describes what the characters in the book are doing, okay? This story is called Come On Rain, all right? Here, it starts out, "Mama lifts a listless vine and sighs." Okay, so it tells us exactly what she's doing, what her actions are. Here's another great example of action, of an action hook. This story is called Soccer Shootout. Look at the way this story starts. "Saving the Day" is the title of chapter 1. Burke stood along the goal line. His heart was pounding in his chest so loudly that Burke wondered if the other players could actually hear it. High action there, okay? It's getting us to feel how the character feels in the story. The third type of hook that authors use is lots of description, where they actually take you to the place that the story is, okay? They make you feel like you're there. This one is called Getting Through Thursday. You should remember this book. We already looked at it once. It says, "Saturdays we're off to the library, and at nighttime, Mama is yelling, 'Shut those books now and shut those eyes.' That's because Sunday is early morning church, and then Mama wants our eyes and ears open wide." Okay, lots of description. It helps us picture what is actually going on. Here's another example. Oops. This one is Pecan Pie Baby. Okay? Here we go. Look at how the author starts out. Just as summer started leaving us, and the leaving brought all those colors to the tree, Mama pulled out my winter clothes. So instead of just saying it was fall, they actually described what the weather was like. Summer was leaving us, and they brought all those colors to the tree. We know that leaves change color in the fall, but they actually put it into a description where we could picture it in our mind. One more example. Each kindness. We know this story. Look how it started out. That winter, snow fell on everything, turning the world a brilliant white. Again, they're using lots of description so we can actually picture what is happening in the story. So here's your task for today, writers. You're going to get with a partner. Your teacher will help you do that. You're going to have a paper that looks like this. It says, authors work very hard to start their stories off just right. They use great leads to hook their readers. Some examples are starting with dialogue, people talking, actions, where people or things are actually in motion, important details about the character or important details about the setting. What you're going to do today, Mrs. Bott and your teacher will give each of you a handful of books. You're going to go through the books. You're going to write the title down, and you're just going to look at the first page. You're not reading the whole book. You're just looking at the first page, and you're going to write over here the type of lead it is. So if I had Each Kindness as my book, that's exactly what I would write. I would write Each Kindness. And then if you remember, I would go to the very first page. I'm not reading the whole story. You just go to the very first page, and it says, that winter snow fell on everything, turning the world a brilliant white. Well, it didn't start with dialogue. There was no one talking. It wasn't action, but it was really describing the setting. So I'm going to say that it is a descriptive lead. Then I would close that book. My partner and I would choose our next book, and we would only look at the first page, and we would do the same thing. So we're using mentor text today to help us become better writers. You're going to have 10 minutes to work on that. After the 10 minutes, everyone's going to individually report back to their seat, and instead of doing our free write today, you're going to come up with 3 different hooks that you could use in your writing piece from your story mountain. So you're thinking of your story that you're going to be writing, and you're going to come up with a dialogue hook, you're going to come up with an action hook, and you're going to come up with lots of description of the details hook. Then tomorrow when we start writing our writing piece, or even later on, you can try those different hooks out to your story, because we want our readers to continue reading beyond just the first couple sentences. We don't want to bore them. We want to hook them and get them ready to experience a great story. So again, you're going to work with your partner, then you're going to create 3 hooks. Remember our non-negotiables. Have fun.